Yesterday, I got a message that there was no audio on the Twitter stream, but I just looked over at my mic and it was red, and I think all of that I just said was muted on all streams. That's what I think. I think all of it was muted, so you could probably hear me now. Um, Sorry about that. I have no idea. There's a button on the front of this mic right here. Can I drag this into frame? This mic right here. If you tap the front, and every once in a while that gets tapped by accident, and I'm really sorry about that. That sucks. You're trying to watch, and then I'm just in here. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. At least it was only the first 2-3 minutes of the show. Jeez. So if you heard anything I said before I started talking about the mic, let me know. Let me know in the chat what did you hear and what didn't you hear. So, but yeah, we're working on. I'll start all over everything I was talking about. Working on the Unstoppable Tyrus. I think it's page 34. Fantastic pencil layouts by the amazing Akeon. He's a 30-year veteran of illustration, animation at the highest levels. It's a great guy. He's laying this book out. I'm doing the ink finishes on it, and it's a lot of fun. It's an action adventure. But what I was talking about politics because I am a political guy. I'm very political. When you have kids, you can't help but be political because it's the future, right? You're thinking about your culture, your society, and you know that one day you won't be around, and or even if you are still alive, they're going to be out of the nest, and you're gonna want them to thrive and survive, right? So let's see. There it is. Comic X book says it's okay. Don't worry about it. Whatever you did, just work. Yeah, I had to tap the front of my microphone because I accidentally had it muted, which is embarrassing. But hey, it's how it is. It's how it is today, and I'm not going to worry about it. But what I was talking about is the stuff going on with Elon and Trump and all that, and this USAID thing. For those of you who don't know, USAID is a bunch of unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. that use all this money that I pay, and if you're an American, that you pay your tax money for horrible communist bullshit. And they've been doing it for decades. And they just hand out our money, our tax money, they hand it out like candy. And it's a disgrace. It's disgusting. And Elon and Trump are putting an end to that. They've locked those people out of the building. They've locked them out of the computers. And now they're going with these amazing young men that are like in their 20s, but they're like, on the spectrum a little bit and like IQ 160 kind of people. And they're weeding through this stuff and finding out the horrors of what the hell's going on with our money and just funding degeneracy and destabilizing governments and just evil throughout the globe. Again, with my money. No, thank you. And it's hysterical to see the left screaming, crying, the wailing and gnashing of teeth. They've never lived this way in as far as in like what's the term that I want? In recent memory, people that are currently alive on the left have never been out of power. This country has been subverted since the 50s by the communists. Senator McCarthy was right. The communists invaded everything and they took over. We lost the Cold War as Americans. We're winning it back now. But we lost the cultural war to the leftists and we didn't know because they took over Hollywood. They took over music, movies, video games once those were invented. Comic books, for sure. The leftists got in everywhere. And without firing one bullet, they took over our culture because they did it through the universities and the entertainment and all that. And, politics is downstream from culture. If you wash people with degenerate entertainment long enough, you can get them to vote that way. And America has been, we were inches from permanent communism if Kamala had won. That was gonna be it. Probably some more Supreme Court people would have retired, just been too old. Look at Clarence Thomas and Alito; they're pretty old, and they would have just done whatever they wanted, and America would be done. And that is their goal. Don't think we've won. We are winning. Don't think we've won. If you're an American and you're a patriot, we haven't won yet, but we are winning. We're up now. I think of it like a sports event. We're up now in the fourth quarter, but the game ain't over. So coloring book would be cool, especially Jericho's comic with kids. Yeah, we'll get into all that stuff there. The thing is, currently right now, I have so many ideas, but how much time do you have, right? I mean, time is limited. I have so many amazing ideas, but the company's pretty small. It's me, a family member doing a lot of stuff helping me, and then I hire a few freelancers. I currently have 2 colorists I work with, and then 1 illustrator, and then I myself am a colorist, illustrator, writer, letterer, blah 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 blah. So it's pretty small. It's just me. So of all the things I want to do, it's just time. Believe me, if I could, I have ideas for 100 amazing things, but uh, you gotta have time for it. And I could go out there and waste a bunch of money and hire all kinds of people, but I'm very selective about who I hire and who I'm going to work with. I was burned in the past once horribly by a partner that it just didn't work out. I don't want to badmouth people. It wasn't great what this person did, but we let it go. We forgive and we move on. Um, but yeah, coloring books for sure. I have it's big man comics, right? But I also want to do a line of books for kids that are specifically for kids. And my granddaughter, I nicknamed her Big Baby. So I was thinking big baby books. Yeah, big man comics, big baby books, stuff like that. And it'd be really fun, I think. So you ever lift a 57 Chevy over your head? Not today, right? Typical artist brain that never stops. No, 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 no. Why would it stop? That's how it is for me. It's a fire hose. I remember one of the regulars on the channel. He asked me, "What do you do when you get writer's block?" I said, "I have no idea. I don't get writer's block. I always have ideas, and I can just." I remember someone told me, "Hey, what about XYZ for a story that I was writing for this comic book? Actually, for this scene that you're reading, this scene in the book, page 30 through 40. This is page 34. It's a completely different scene. It was a fight scene with some mutants and some bad guys." And someone made a suggestion to me about why don't you do something where Tyrus is learning about his new powers. I'll just do that. That isn't spoiling everything. I said, okay. So I wrote this scene and I ended up writing this comedy scene and just threw the other one away. I did it in like 45 minutes. I wrote 10 pages, and that's a lot. But that's just how it works for me. It's genetic. I know that. Like the language gift, that runs in my family. People who can just talk off the top of their head, do improv comedy, just make things up instantly. I've been doing that naturally since I was a little boy. I didn't know it was a thing. I remember seeing Whose Line Is It Anyway when I was little, and I was like, I remember learning that improv was something they taught and it was an art form and that kind of confused me because I was like, isn't this just how talking is? Isn't this just how joking works? And I didn't realize it was like a genetic, like a type of brain that can just do that naturally. So yeah, it's always going. The thing about the brain that's always going with ideas and stories, it's like trying to get some sleep at night. Can you let me relax? Can you let me sleep a little? Gabe is the Bob Ross of the comic world. I wonder if he could draw a happy little sword. I guess I could draw a sword. Let's draw a gnarly looking sword. We put like a fish hook on it, right? We put that on it. Then we come in, and then we can go like this. And then I like this, and then this, and then I don't know. There's something that looks like it would get somebody pretty good, huh? So, but we don't need that. So we're gonna clear it out. So there's your sword. Cut. Okay. But yeah, it's going well. I've was just, it's funny. I'm glad that I can do this, that I can draw and talk at the same time, because it's different parts of the brain, right? So um we can get that done at the same time. Because I do, it's like I realize that I'm just like working in my garage. It's my garage slash office. I turned it into an office a couple, years ago. And and you guys don't see it, and then I'm not like connecting with you guys, and I do think that social media, that's the key. It's like connecting with people and letting them know, like letting them into your life and letting them see how the sausage is made, so um because I know that when I've gone to comic cons and things like that, that it is people are very interested to come up to your table and watch you draw and do things like that, and they want to ask questions, and you constantly get questions like, "Hey, I have ideas for comics. How do I get into comics?" And I like to help people with that too. I will tell you, like, how do I XYZ? It's all mindset. That's how you do anything. Um, There isn't like, oh, if you want to get into comics, you buy this pencil. If you want to get into comics, you talk to this person. Like, that's not how anything works. There's never a magic bullet. Everything is just built over time, you know? And it's like, well, how do you build whatever, like a 100-foot tall Lego sculpture? It's like one Lego at a time. The answer to success is not very exciting. Success looks like a lot of perspiration and late nights and hard work. That's all. It isn't glamorous. It isn't like, oh, you do this and then it's constantly just amazing, endless fun, and you feel like you're on a roller coaster eating candy all day. It's like, no, you're getting up early, going to bed late, and you're going into your garage office by yourself and drawing stuff, and nobody's there, and you're having all the. And I thought, I'll open it up and let people see. So I'm going to try this, I think, all week this week and see how much it slows me down. Now, I had to work pretty late last night on the page, like till 9:30 or 10, and I like to be done a lot sooner than that, but it was a crazy page that had like 10 panels. It had a lot of panels, and that's not typical. This page is much simpler. It only has like 3 panels. And the hardest part was the Chevy to draw. So I did that first. That took about 45 minutes before I came on the air with you guys, because I, plan on coming on it 10:30 like I do. I was a little late today, but so then I worked on that from 9 something until it was time to go. And then by the time I looked at the clock, I was like, oops, I'm late. So, but I'm thinking about the schedule. I love being independent and freelance, because then I make the decisions, right? It's pure creativity, like when I was a small child. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do Tyrus, and I got Empyrean practically done. I have a phone meeting with the colorist who's finishing it up for me this afternoon. And I'm going to do Tyrus, then I'm going to do Tripoli, my military thriller, and then I'm going to do Dean Cain after that. And I thought, you know what? This morning I was having a thought that I don't think that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk to the guy that I was going to have draw Tripoli and tell him, no, I'm subbing you. I'm going to have you go to just Dean Cain right away. I think I'm going to do that. And I think I'm going to draw Tripoli myself, and all by myself. Because right now, yes, I'm inking this, but my buddy Akion is doing the pencil layouts. As you can see, the pencil and the ink are 2 different things here. So I think I'm going to do Tripoli fully by myself, and then I'll have my buddy get on Dean Cain sooner than doing it in the winter. And I don't know if he's going to be happy about that, but I am the boss. I'm the one with the checkbook. So it's going to go the way I want it to. So, but I think he'll be happy, because he was going to do Tripoli and then Dean Cain, and I was going to do this other thing, but I don't think I'm going to do that other thing right now. So, and Tripoli's such a personal story to me. It's weird to be a person who doesn't really know a lot of their heritage, 50% of it. My father's from Libya, and I don't know about it. I don't identify with it or anything like that. And it's very tragic what has gone on there since Obama's horrible State Department, probably with the money of this USAID stuff that's all being revealed by Elon, overthrew Gaddafi there, right? They overthrew him, and I'm not saying Gaddafi was a great guy. I mean, he had my father on a kill list, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's their country, and Americans and Europeans and all the globalists stepping in for their interest. It isn't right. And if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, my dad's best childhood friend, the little boy that my dad grew up with, and they knew each other all the way through high school. They both came to America to go to college and stuff. He was the prime minister after Gaddafi was killed. My dad's best friend. So my dad has the insider knowledge of how it worked. That guy's come to my dad's house in Colorado to visit after he was the prime minister running Libya, after Obama's people did what they did. And, of course, when you know someone like that, now I don't know the guy, but my dad does. And I want to talk about that. I want to write about that. The horrible things that globalism has done to all of these European countries, African, everywhere. And it's been, unfortunately, I love America. You're not going to find someone more patriotic than me, but it's us. It's our country. Like, it's the USA thing, the Democrat, communist, globalist. They've been doing horrible things throughout the world. I remember my dad telling me when he was a little boy, the CIA was there in Libya. So my dad was born in the late 40s, early 50s. Won't tell me how old he is, which I find ridiculous. And he says those CIA guys were there on the ground walking around. And he said that they, and they're there to like influence the local elections or whatever. And Libya used to, they used to have a king and all that. And then, they're going to get, I love doing that move with the toe, by the way. You know where I learned that? I learned that from looking at a drawing, just looking. No one told me how to do that. It's a under swoop over toenail. That's really fun. I learned that from looking at Leonardo da Vinci's drawings. I looked at them in like elementary school. I really got into drawing. I've been drawing since I was little. But I was looking at this book of his, and I realized that's what he did when he drew the toenail. I just realized it from looking at it. I hate all of what I just did there. Let's see. So the brain of an artist is a brain, but just keeps going and going and going, even in the sleep. I don't know that that's an artist thing. I think that can be any kind of person can have that brain. This needs a little more drawing before we ink it, because it isn't. So if there's ever pencils that are not done enough for me to really interpret well, what I'll do is I'll go and fill in some white there. I'll make it a little transparent so I can kind of see the structure. Then I'll go in with pencil myself and try and figure out how best to do this. So it's not the ink stage yet. Okay. Okay, so that's better. That's better. Yeah, we figured that out. No, the brain that just goes, that has nothing to do with being an artist per se. That's just a type of brain, I think. I think some people have called it a ruminating brain. I don't know if that's an official scientific terminology for it. But I don't know. I know it has to do with like the language centers of the brain and all that kind of stuff, but there's I think intelligence and mental illness are very tied together, and thank God I'm not mentally ill, but there are people in my family that are mentally ill. And like there's schizophrenia, a couple. And I know that all goes together. I know when you have the super high acuity for language, the high IQ for language and all that, and then like the crazy people who think the government is out to get them, there's a relationship there. And I think these things are genetic, obviously, because I just do. And I think that that's related to that, I do. So, personality it's nature and nurture. There is nurture that will develop your personality, but there's definitely a nature to it too. You are either naturally, relaxed, naturally anxious, naturally stupid, naturally smart, and then you build on it there from your life experiences, right? So, but I do know the language thing that I have. That's just genetic. There's people in my family that have it. Gabe Castleton's family fled Uganda under Idi Amin's rule. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. And when you start looking at all this U.S. aid stuff that Elon and his guys are uncovering, you're finding out so much of that evil and all that. That was our people doing that. And that's so bad. That's so shameful. That's so awful. I love this country and all that. And some of the people that have been at the helm running things are just the worst people. They're so bad. And I'm glad that Trump and Elon are putting a stop to that. They have no right to use our money to do evil things like that. We're supposed to be the light of the world, the shining city on the hill that people aspire to. Not, hey, let's overthrow governments and kill thousands and millions to make a few more bucks. That's not who we are. That's not what America's supposed to be. That's awful. And I'm glad it's all being revealed. And you see the politicians squealing and crying, the ones that are freaking out the most. Yeah, those are the ones at the trough, I think, that were getting lots of money from this corrupt shit. I was looking at someone posted a link to some website where all this stuff was public, but nobody looked at it. And it was all of this aid and financing, millions and hundreds of millions and jillions, billions, let's just say trillions. I don't know. A lot of our money wasted over the years. I know hundreds of millions, probably billions, but it was for the stupidest shit. So, like a transgender something opera in Uganda or Ireland or something, a thing promoting trans ideology in a crappy comic book in Peru. Like what? Just free money for people everywhere to go to college, like to come to America and go to universities. I'm sorry, but fuck no. We don't give scholarships to foreigners. I don't care what their situation is over there. We can give scholarships and aid and all this to foreigners after we take care of every American. If one American has to pay a penny for college, then we don't have money for foreigners to go to college. I don't care how smart they are, how horrible their country is. We take care of our own first, and then we can go outside. That would be like if I bought food for the neighbors and then made my wife and kids have to go without. What the hell is that? You don't do things like that. It's evil. First of all, it's stupid and evil. And you know why they do all this US aid stuff. They're not helping anyone. They're pushing agendas, but most of all, in my opinion, I don't have proof, allegedly, but it will be revealed allegedly. It's embezzlement, dude. It's like this. Hey, France needs a bunch of water fountains. USAID will pay for it. So I'm the guy at USAID. I'm like, okay, I'm going to allocate $50 million to build water fountains in Paris. And then my brother calls me up and says, hey, I own a water fountain making company. Oh, do you? Well, I have to spend money to buy water fountains, brother of mine. Why don't I hire you to do that with this taxpayer money? And then, oh, magically, some of the money will come back to me in my personal Swiss bank account. How very interesting. That's how it's pretty obvious to everyone that that's probably what's going on. Allegedly, I don't know it for a fact. But it's infuriating because I sit here working like you. I pay my taxes. I pay my taxes in California, by the way. And then they do that with my money, just basically allegedly embezzle it. It's insane. So yeah, I'm so glad that things are changing. And for those of you that just haven't been paying attention, or you're not from here, you're not really interested in this stuff. It's like coming out of a nightmare that this country has been subverted for 80 years since World War II, basically, but really like since the 50s or the 60s, we've just had this stuff going on where the American people are tax-paying suckers. It sucked. It's not supposed to be that way. And this is why Trump is the good guy, because you can tell a person by their enemies. You don't watch what people say, you watch what they do. The reaction to Trump the last 8 to 10 years tells you everything you need to know. I remember I have a relative that has Trump derangement syndrome, and I was telling them, look at his enemies. You hated all these people for years. All these people have done to you is lie to you and rip you off for years, and they all hate him. Do the math on that, dude. Do the math on that. What do you think? It doesn't matter what they say. Blah, 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 Trump, Nazi, this, that. It doesn't matter what they say. Look at how they're reacting to them and look at who they are. And they don't want to hear it. So Trump derangement syndrome is a hell of a drug, man. Why is there an orangutan here? Why was he pointing a 45 at the Tyrus character on yesterday's page? I'm not telling you guys. You have to buy this book to find out. And you're going to love it. You're going to love all the books I have. They're really, really good. Really, really well done. They're the best. My stuff is the best. Ain't nobody doing it better. And you know why? Because I'm focused on one thing when I make this: entertainment. I understand art, writing, how it works, and then I apply myself to do the very best I can at it. And then I let you guys crowdfund it and enjoy it. So let's see here. Comic X books. What other job or career would you have liked to do if you didn't get into comics? It was either this or play defensive end for the Denver Broncos in the NFL. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4". I love football. I played it forever. I coached it forever. So it was either this or football. So, here I am. Bazinger says, yep, and as much as I don't want people to lose those jobs, but the warmonger and interventionist politicians got to go. Yeah, we have no right to be interfering in other countries. They're sovereign nations. We're not the boss of Peru. We got to leave them alone. Michael Coulter, Gabe, one of the things that they revealed about the Democrat Party was that they were spending billions of dollars to see what happens when cocaine affects beagle dogs. So they were hurting the dogs. Yeah, they had spending millions. How fast can shrimp run on a treadmill? Doing transgender like hormones and surgery to animals, I think like dogs and cats and stuff, to see what the reaction was. I talked about this earlier, but I think my microphone was off like the first 3 minutes of the show. People in, I think it was Chile or somewhere, and a lot of South America is very Christian, very Catholic, and they were alarmed at like the indoctrinating kids with transgender and all this LGBT ideology in the schools. But it was basically like, hey, you got to put this in the schools or we're not going to give you this aid money. And that isn't right. So basically the US aid thing was a far left, anti-Christian, anti-American, globalist, communist, that's not a word, communist slush fund for the worst ideas, the most evil ideas in the world to be spread in my name with my tax money. I don't think so. So Godspeed, Elon Musk. You are destroying these people, and it's like a sucker punch, and I'm glad. They don't know what hit them with Trump and Elon and all this stuff. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing to watch them gnash their teeth and cry. I put out a video. I want you to all watch it after we're done here. And I think I'm just going to go an hour today. I went an hour and a half yesterday, but I'm going to go an hour. I think I'll go from 10 to 11. We'll see about that. But yeah, this is still the experimental phase of doing the show for you guys. And what was I going to say? Shoot, I was going to say something again about Elon that was making me laugh. Oh, they hit him like a sucker punch, and these people, they've been in power, since the 50s. These globalist weirdos, they have, just kind of behind the scenes and growing and growing and growing and subverting our country and culture, and like the crazy LGBT pushing it on kids. I don't have a problem with any adult having the sexuality they want to have consensually with adults. That's freedom. I don't have to like it. It's not my business. They're adults. You can't push it on kids. Period. That's the line. And it's a big part of why they lost the election. That they thought they were going to just tell us that's how it was going to be with kids, because they were fucking used to just telling us everything else. And then we told them, nope, kids was the line. You fafoed, right? You fucked around and you found out. Kids was the line. And it cost them everything. It cost them everything, as it should have. You don't mess with kids. You just don't. There's a verse in the Bible, and it's a warning, and it's saying anyone that will harm a widow or children would be better off tying a millstone, which is a giant, many feet wide stone used by like donkeys and stuff. Humans will put a donkey on it or whatever to grind grains. A millstone, tie their rope to a millstone, attach that to their neck, and jump into the ocean. That would be better for you than how God will punish you messing with kids and widows and stuff like that. And I think any person who has any shred of dignity knows that kids are off limits. There's a lot of bad people that believe a lot of bad things, but even most bad people are like, kids, no, you leave the kids alone. So only the worst and most demonic people want to do bad things to kids. And I am all for seeing those kind of people crushed and destroyed. And if you are any kind of sane, rational, if you have any morality, you agree. You cannot disagree with that. You don't do things to kids. And if you do things to kids, I love this. This is not mine. This was Jonathan Hickman wrote this in one of his books. I'd tell you to pray, but you deserve what's coming. I love that. It's so ominous. It reminds me of my favorite author, Cormac McCarthy. He writes dialogue like that. Yeah, orangutan. An orangutan that was pointing a loaded 45 at Tyrus yesterday. Now he's watching in awe as Tyrus lifts this 57 Chevy over his head. But why? But why? You ask why? Because I make the best, most fun, entertaining comic books in the world. That's why. The Zinger says, I remember calling someone out on X because they didn't agree on DEI and she was ill-informed and misinformed, but this person wasn't coming from a bad place. She was being tricked. You can say this person was pro-DEI in a TDS case, but I got no issue with people having different experiences. I think differently. I just want to be well-informed, not deceived and disguised. Sure, there are differences of opinion in life, but there is an objective right and wrong. Don't fall for the communist postmodern bullshit of, well, who's to say what's right and wrong? No. There is a right, there is a wrong, and it wasn't decided by me. Okay, it's always wrong to hurt other people for your own gain. Like, oh, I'm gonna, like someone who's gonna do something evil, but it makes them, a lot of money or power, prestige, but it hurts someone else, right? If I stole your wallet, that'd be good for me. I'd have more money, but it would hurt you. That's always wrong. That's not my opinion. That's always wrong. There is a definite good and a definite evil. And don't let these left-wing people tell you that, oh, it's really just a matter of opinion and morality changes as time goes by. Slavery used to be legal. So wait, what? It used to be okay? It wasn't okay when it was legal, you moron. People used to be cannibals. So morality doesn't. It was wrong when they were cannibals. Why are you so fucking stupid? Like, yes, people did wrong things, and guess what? They still do. That doesn't make it okay. It's just the most Reddit tier college freshman argument to hear. Morality changes as people change. Morality doesn't change. Right is always right. It never changes. Wrong is always wrong. It never changes. What people will accept will change. But because a people, a society accepts something, that is not what arbitrates whether it's right or wrong. You can have evil societies, you can have evil cultures. I'm sorry, you can. It's always wrong to hurt another. Always. Period. It's wrong. There's nothing more hateful than to get what I want and screw your life up. That's wrong. If I can get what I want and I'm not screwing your life up, that's a lot better. But if I put myself ahead of you and hurt you to get what I want, then I'm wrong. That's how it is. And it's not a difference of opinion. Christianity has it, but every philosophy has it. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. In other words, don't do anything to anyone you wouldn't want them to do to you. Period. That is morality. So it's really nice to see this USAID thing being exposed. And I bet you, as horrific as it is, it's probably just the tip of the iceberg, unfortunately, Let's see. Bazinger says, I didn't buy it. I took the red pill in 2019, but this person bought what the wokesters sold, and I blame them and the activists and the mainstream media for that. Yes and no. You have a free will and you have a brain, and it is your job to figure things out as it is mine. Do you think I know everything? No, I was telling you guys yesterday, though, what true intelligence is constantly reminding yourself, I don't know. What don't I know? What don't I know? Even if you know a lot, you just have to be like, well, what don't I know? What do I need to find out? What do I need to look into? And the answer to that is everything. You need to be looking into everything all the time because you don't know. Let me look at this. Oh, that's a thumb right there. Right. Yeah, that's the thumb. Remember, an orangutan, he's got thumbs on his feet. Would you like to have thumbs on your feet? What would you do? What would you do if your feet were like your hands? You could drive your car with your feet. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting the primate feet with the thumbs. That's very interesting. What's your opinion on monkeys? What are your politics when it comes to monkeys? Are you pro monkey or anti monkey? I don't know. It's such a crazy time. Um, I know that the rot in America. It's cultural. The getting rid of the fathers and destroying our heritage basically by these leftists. And we are. This is the final battle. This is all the chips in the middle of the table. After what happened to Trump, you know that he knows they've got to win this because if they don't, if they're not able to secure themselves against these people, imagine what these people will do coming back against him and Elon and even, their supporters. Imagine what it would be like. If you would like to know instead of imagine, look in the history book at what communists have done when they've had their revolutions. Go look. Go check that out. It's worse than any horror movie you could see. Okay? These are the worst people on earth. Truly murderous, awful people. Um, and it's a big part of why I do what I do, because I realized these entertainment companies, they're part of that same machine. They are. They are part of that same machine, and I don't want to be a part of that. I thought we were just telling little superhero stories and robots and aliens and bad guys, criminals down by the docks, and we're just having a good time. And as time has gone by, they become more and more blatant with the stuff they want to push, and I don't want to be a part of that. Sorry, Charlie, it's not my bag, not my thing. So we look at the chat. I would probably grab something if I ever have thumbs in my feet. Yeah, be interesting. I wonder if I could draw with my feet if I had thumbs. Gabe, yeah, buckle up, my friend. It's going to get real juicy these next 4 years. I'm loving what I'm seeing, and they have exposed a lot of stuff so far. Yeah, but it's got to stick, man. That Republican Congress, they can't be squishy. They have got to make these things because, Trump can sign all the executive orders he wants, but they're gone the minute a Democrat president gets in there and just waves the wand, right? So we need these things to actually be codified into law. We need the Republican Congress to not be squishy little bitches and make this stuff the law. And, we'll see. But if it isn't law, I don't know how it lasts, One of the great things about this USAID thing, it's not the law. It was an executive order from President Kennedy. Trump can just undo it anytime he wants. So it'll be very interesting to see. Very interesting to see where this stuff goes. But it's time. I'm prosperous. I'm doing good. Everyone who's listening who's an American, you're lucky to be one. But here's the thing. You have been ripped off. Even if you're doing good, I'm doing good, thank God. Even if you're doing good, you should be doing way better. And you say, oh, well, that's not grateful. Now you're being selfish. You're not grateful for what you have. It's not that. It's not that. I need millions more. I'm doing good and doing better every day, business-wise. But the point is the principle of the matter. People who had no right, suppressed this country and everyone in it that wasn't part of the elite ruling class. They had no right to do that to us. So it just, for a basic, concept, this is just making up numbers. If you have 10, you should have had 20. You're like, oh, you're not grateful. It's like, it's not that. It wasn't theirs to steal. It wasn't theirs to hand out, So, and again, the principle there matters. You either believe in law and order and right and wrong, or you don't. So, and one thing that's confusing to me, I find interesting, very confusing, is the Democrat people, just citizens that lean left, going crazy about this USAID thing and not wanting it to be shut down. It's like, it's your money too they're wasting. Why doesn't that bother you? You drive down the road, there's potholes. The local public school has, 10-year-old textbooks that are falling apart, and all the things that need to be funded, like homeless everywhere, and the fires in California and the homeless problem in California. I live here, so I'm going to talk about that. And then you're just fine with your money just going away to bullshit. And by the way, it's not good. It's not helping anything. It's pushing a leftist, anti-religious, anti-patriotic agenda. It definitely is. You're just fine. And it's like, it's even though you're left and you hate Elon and Trump, blah, 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 it's your money too. Like, you worked your ass off too and paid taxes, and you don't care. Let's see. Michael Coulter says he would rather be a gorilla. They're the most powerful out of all the apes. Yeah, silverback. If I had to be one of these things, I'd be a silverback. Although the orangutan does look cool. It's got a big, weird, fat head, and he has red hair. Red hair is pretty rare, right? But yeah, the silverback would be the best one. You'd run around beating your chest. But yeah, I am confused why there are people, even though they don't like like Trump or Elon, this doesn't feel like, again, it's your tax money too. Why doesn't that bother you? And it's not about greed or ingratitude. I want more, more, more. It's like, you worked your literal hours, minutes, days, weeks of your life. You got turned into money, right? When you worked your job, you gave up hours, days, weeks, months, years of your life, turned it into money. And then these people just took it and did whatever they wanted. That doesn't bother you. They act like they have this unlimited fund. And when you guys start finding out some of the stuff that's funded, and not just lesbian disabled comic books, when you start finding out some of the really evil political stuff that's funded. I was reading a thing last night, and it was saying that the overthrowing of the government of Ukraine in 2014, did that have any ramifications? That was funded by this USAID thing. I don't know if that's true, but I was reading about it. People were showing video of the late Senator John McCain and talking about how how they did this stuff, that's how they financed this stuff. It's infuriating, because I came not from nothing, but humble means when I got married. My wife was a waitress at basically a diner. In California, there's a chain of them called Coco's. They're pretty much out of business now. But, and I worked at Toys R Us for $8 an hour. This is 1996. We didn't have much. We were very poor, lived check to check. We've worked our asses off for years. 28 years we've been married, and we have something real nice now, but we sure bled for it. And I don't like the idea of my wife coming home pregnant from waiting tables, and her feet are, all sore, and I'm sitting there working construction. We're doing this and we're doing that, trying to make it. And these jackass politicians are just taking the taxes we're paying and throwing them into a furnace so they could teach Peruvians about transgender ideology. What the fuck are you doing? So yeah, this is just it's great that it's being exposed and it'll be annihilated. Couldn't be happier about it. And I had a tweet yesterday. People seem to like it. Said, yes, I voted for cheaper eggs, but I also voted for like the complete destruction of the woke ideology and all that. Something like that. I don't remember exactly what I said, but yes, I do want a better economy, cheaper eggs, all that. But it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute. It'll work though. So what time is it? Okay, it's 11:24. Comic Expo says best year for cars 65, 81, etc. I don't know. I'm not a car guy. I love cars. I love my Ford F-150 truck, but I'm not like into cars where I like think about them and know all this stuff about them. Love a nice car, but to me, a car was always like it's a fun thing, but it was always a utility first. It was like, okay, I need a car, because again, we were very poor when I got married, so we looked at like need, and my wife was poor pretty much her whole childhood. You know, she was. There were difficulties in my childhood. There was a time where I was getting a free lunch in high school from the school, but she had it a lot worse than me. But so we didn't turn, even though we've made good money and done things now, we didn't turn into like materialistic people because I still mentally feel the same concept as when I was poor of don't be stupid. Don't be a dumbass with money. Try and figure out how to get it right. And I don't know. I don't know. Have you guys heard about Ripaverse making a character video about ISO? No. Heather says her F-150 was her favorite. Yeah, I've only had the truck for like 2.5 years, and it's just the best. I don't ever want a different vehicle. I never had a truck, and I'm the kind of person, if you picture a giant black Ford F-150, I am who you picture getting out of it. A huge man, a huge, powerful, super intelligent, super handsome man. No, but I'm who you picture getting out of that thing, and it suits me quite well. I love it. So and it's a joy to drive, and I can see out of it. The thing about being so dang big is the world was built apparently by short little men, because you ride on an airplane, you ride on this, you ride on that, and it's not built for your height, the length of your legs, all this stuff. I'm not fat anymore. This is a loose hoodie, but let me pull it back. Yeah, see, I'm not fat anymore, but I'm big and tall. And when you drive a regular car, imagine you come to the stoplight, you're driving like a Toyota Camry, which I've had. Great cars, but too small for me. Sedans are too small. This is why I love trucks. I'm going to go in a minute here. I'm going to go at 11:30-ish. You get to the red light, I can't see the light. I have to go like this to see the light because I'm too tall, because my head is so close to the ceiling. The truck, it's so much better. I'm just driving. I can see everything in the truck. Like, oh, this is what it's like for all you short people to drive. So yeah, and I have a Camry. I have a couple sedans. I have the truck, and I've driven it in the last 2.5 years that I've had the truck. I've barely driven my sedan, right? But I drove it for whatever reason. I went to an Asian restaurant and there was no parking, so I knew not to drive my truck over there. And it's weird driving the sedan now. Like, how did I ever drive in a car this small? It's really weird. So, but speaking of eating, I haven't eaten since Sunday night at around 8:30. I'm fasting. And I'll tell you this funny story and then I gotta go. I don't know. I don't know if this will be funny to you, but I'm fasting. My friend Matthew Malsden, he's the movie guy. Great guy. Check him out here on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. He's awesome. He fasts and does a lot of nutrition and health things. And he's an athlete and he's a black belt in karate. And he's that guy. And he's gotten me to fast before. And it's really good. I fast for health reasons and I fast for spiritual reasons. And the Bible talks about fasting to pray. So I've been doing that, praying a lot yesterday. But anyway, I called him up. Okay, I made it. I'm trying to go 3 days fasting. I made it through Monday. Now's the second day. I told him last time I almost got to 3 days, I got a wicked headache and felt a little tired and blah, blah. I said, I know coffee's an appetite suppressant. I'm going to do the coffee, the black coffee, no cream, no calories. It's fasting. And I know about the salt water. You put a little salt in the water, keep yourself hydrated. You got anything else? And he's like, nope, that's it. I'm like, damn, I thought he would have a secret. So I'm talking to him on the phone about that. We get off the phone. I go in the kitchen. My wife is frying bacon and making homemade guacamole and something else. The entire kitchen smells like bacon. So I just turned around and came back into my office after she did that. Just trying to set me up, trying to get me to give in on my fast. But I'm hitting the hard part now. I feel very hungry right now, and I'm starting to just think about food. That's why I'm talking about it now. I'm really feeling the hunger pains, and this is what I want, because I do believe the primary reason I do fast is spiritual. Again, it's biblical, and the suffering is what it's about. So once I get to the part where I'm suffering with hunger, then I feel good. Like, okay, now I'm doing it. This is what it was. Because it's kind of easy the first day. You still have glycogen in your body, and your body's using that. But I can tell now. My body's like, hey, when are we eating? I'm like, we're trying to get through today. We're trying to. We'll see if we do. So, okay, guys, that was some work there. Go to bigmancomics.com. Get yourself Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, Volume 1. We still have that in stock. Let me close that. We still have that in stock, and we're going to have Empyrean. It's going to be done probably in a week or two, at least the colors. Then I'll letter it right after that. It'll be great, and I'll put that on crowdfund, hopefully sometime in the spring here. And the Tyrus book that you're looking at up there, I will have that done hopefully and crowdfund it this summer. Got to talk to my buddy Tyrus how we're going to promote that, or he's talked to me about going to Comic-Cons and doing this and doing that, and of course he has all those great media connections, so I think we'll be able to blitz with the Tyrus book everywhere. You guys are awesome. I love that you guys support me. I love that you love the work I'm doing, and that you go and fetch it on bigmancomics.com. That means so much to me when you guys do that. It really does. Let's see. War Shark Productions. Hey, Gary, heard you're working on a military comic. If so, is it inspired by something like G.I. Joe or more grounded military source? It's grounded in real life. It's called Tripoli. It's about PMCs, professional military contractors, and doing private security and stuff like that. But it's got a heart. It's a man protecting a little boy, and it's really a tearjerker. If you've seen 310 to Yuma, if you've read Cormac McCarthy's book The Road, or seen the movie with Viggo Mortensen, it's got that in it, that father-son dynamic. I haven't played it, but my brother told me, when I told my brother about Tripoli after I wrote it, he said, oh, you got to play The Last of Us. I guess the guy in The Last of Us video game is escorting this girl through a dangerous thing. So Tripoli has a lot of that in it. But I am currently listening to an audiobook from a former Special Air Service, a British special guy, and then he became a PMC during the Global War on Terror. So I'm listening to that book, not for any story ideas, but so I can have authenticity in the jargon, the lingo, the concepts of how these private military contractors work with the governments. And it's funny, USAID was mentioned in the book. USAID is currently being thankfully destroyed by Elon Musk and Trump. But yeah, I'm trying to go for as much authenticity as I can. So I want to read a few memoirs of private military contractors. But yeah, it's a private military contractor in Tripoli dealing with militias, terrorist stuff, oil tankers, and all this stuff. And then there's a little boy at the heart of the story that this contractor guy is having to, you'll see. You'll have to buy it. You're going to love it. It's called Tripoli. I think I'm going to draw that one and have Akeon do Dean Cain Volume 2 is what we're going to do after this Tyrus book is done. Okay, guys. Agent Cub, are you still a part of CG? No, I'm not. I don't bother them. I don't hate them. I'm like indifferent. People can do what they want. I am Big Man Comics. That's what I am. I'm not part of Marvel, DC. I'm not an employee of the Rippaverse. I'm not an employee of Comicsgate or whatever. I am Big Man Comics, and I'm proud to be that. So I'm not against them. I'm for anyone. Do whatever the hell you want. Like do what you want. And everyone out there doing this, whether it's Marvel, DC, CG, whatever, do your best work. I wish you luck. I sincerely do. I want everyone to make the best stuff possible and to win. All right, guys. All the links are in the description. Go to Big Man Comics. Pick up my books there. And make sure to sign up for the newsletter at Big Man Comics, because I'm setting one out today, I believe. It's going to have an update on some stuff and letting you know when it's all coming. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.